Hello everyone and welcome back. I am as always Inquisitor Aura and this is how to roleplay in World of Warcraft, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Shu'halo or the Tauren. Please note that these are just guidelines to socially acceptable and lore-friendly RP in WoW. There is pretty much a niche for every type and style of RP. What I'm telling you here are the generally accepted guidelines that will not get you ridiculed. There are many things that can be said about the Shu'halo as a whole, but one of the most important things there is for you to know as a Shu'halo role player is that the Earth Mother is central to your beliefs. To the Shu'halo, the Earth Mother is the great creatrix. In their creation myth, she is the creator of the land and the Tauren, and that the sun and moon, Ansha and Musha, are her eyes. She is the embodiment of nature and is said to live in the very rivers, trees, and mountains of Azeroth. She also represents all of the animalistic forces of nature, and all spirits reflect some aspect of her. In a sense, she is a kind of universal consciousness. She is everywhere life and nature is. The only spirits that are separate from her are the spirits of sentient beings. And Shu'halo religion teaches that one must respect and love the Earth Mother by treating her body and her children with respect and care. In this, they take only what they need from the land, eschewing mass logging and mining, and they never discard any part of the animals that they hunt. When a Shu'halo dies, they are cremated, their ashes scattered to the winds to be embraced by the Earth Mother and her mysterious counterpart, the Sky Father, about whom very little is known. Now, there are 2 points in every Shu'halo's life that needs to be discussed. The first point is the rite of vision. At some point in time, you underwent this ritual. You are sent out into the wilderness and you have to meditate and survive with minimal to no survival gear and supplies. You remained out there until you met your totem animal, which represented your personality and what you would eventually become in life. The second thing is the Great Hunt, which is a kind of throwback to your once nomadic ways. With the construction of Thunderbluff, the single largest Tauren camp, your nomadic ways have pretty much come to an end. But that being said, some of the basic tenets that are associated with the nomadic lifestyle are still heavily practiced. The Shu'halo are very much a hunter-gatherer type of society, though they do not subscribe to the gender roles that are generally affixed to these types of societies. And the Great Hunt is quite a big deal. Contrary to popular belief, the Tauren are not vegetarians as a whole, as of course individuals as always can and will be different. They hunt often, both to provide food and goods for their families as well as for ritualistic purposes, and this is one of them. Hunting is a ceremony in itself, most children going on their first hunt between the ages of 12 and 14. When the animal is slain, prayers are said and the body is used. No part of the animal goes to waste, as that is considered wasteful to the Shu'halo and an affront to the spirit of the slain animal as well as to the Earth Mother. All that aside, every young Shu'halo does eventually go through both the Great Hunt and the Rite of Vision. This leads me into my next point about the Shu'halo as a people. Almost everything the Shu'halo do is spiritually significant. They are peaceful and prefer to keep to their quiet ways. Prayers are said to the rising of both Ansha and Musha for the start and end of each season, the passing of a life, no matter how small. Dancing and celebration and feasting is very much a part of this, and there are celebrations held for just about everything. The next major thing I would like to talk to you about is Their presence in the events of Azeroth's history. Like the trolls and the goblins and the Pandaren, the Shu'halo have been on Azeroth since the very beginning, having had a marked presence during the War of the Ancients. And like those races, they have a somewhat normal lifespan, reaching adulthood at about the age of 15 and rarely living beyond 150. Another major point we need to discuss when talking about the Shu'halo is why they joined the Horde. The Shu'halo joined the Horde during the events of Warcraft 3 out of a mutual need. The Shu'halo were being massacred by the centaurs, who are their ancient enemies, and the orcs, newly landed on Kalimdor, had been being harassed by humans harrying their escape from the eastern kingdoms. They saw both the orcs and the trolls, whom they also encountered at this point in time, as spiritual brethren, and allied with them to forge a shared vision, a collective of allies to watch each other's backs. They are also allied with the Cenarian Circle, however. This includes the Kaldore, whom they regard as a race of near demigods with strong ties to nature, which is very, very important to the Shu'halo. They go out of their way to avoid conflict with the Night Elves almost as a whole. Now that we've covered what they're about and where they've come from, there are some points in recent histories that absolutely must be discussed. The first point is the unification of the Shu'halo into one tribe. This was because of Cairn Bloodhoof. He realized that the Centaur were beginning to gain the upper hand in their battles, and that an ununified Shu'halo people was the only way to combat it. This led to the building of Thunderbluff. Thunderbluff was also Cairn Bloodhoof's idea. It was during its construction and the subsequent Centaur attacks that Cairn and Thrall first met. The unification of the Shu'halo and the building of Thunderbluff are both very important, and they shine light on why this next point is of the most importance, and that is the death or murder of Cairn Bloodhoof. Cairn was tired of Garrosh's lacking leadership, and so challenged him to a duel. Garrosh, wanting to scare Cairn off, agreed to the duel, but only if it was to the death, and Cairn agreed, with good reason. He knew that he could beat Garrosh one-on-one. It was during this duel that Cairn Bloodhoof died, but it was discovered later that it was not Garrosh's blow that actually killed the mighty Shu'halo chieftain. It was Magatha Grimtotem. She had somehow managed to poison Garrosh's blade. During the duel, it was obvious that Cairn had the upper hand on Garrosh the entire time, but Garrosh managed to get a lucky cut in. The poison was strong enough that was enough of a wound to slow Cairn Bloodhoof down so that he could be killed by Garrosh. Magatha, upon Cairn's death, ordered her tribe to attack Thunderbluff and kill all of Cairn's supporters. The Bloodhoof loyalists escaped Thunderbluff, however, and rallied behind Cairn's son Bane, who led a counterattack and pushed the Grim Totems out of Thunderbluff and exiled them permanently. And as if that was not a large enough blow to the Shu'halo people, the last point was the icing on the cake, and that was the razing of Camp Taraho. It was burnt to the ground, and the inhabitants killed by the Alliance as they sought to pave a path through the Barrens. And as a result, the Shu'halo erected a huge gate and effectively sealed off Mulgore. The death of Cairn Bloodhoof and the razing of Camp Taraho are significant, especially for the Shu'halo. The people of Camp Tauren were attacked without provocation, and it is up to you to decide whether or not you believe that Cairn died fairly in the battle with Garrosh, or if he was in fact murdered by Magatha Grimtotem. Now, let's get into some tips on how to roleplay a Shu'halo. The first one that I need to address is that you do not have to roleplay as a Grimtotem. I've seen a lot of Grimtotem roleplayers, a lot of exiled Grimtotem roleplayers. The fact is that there are many Shu'halo clans out there that you could potentially be from, and you do not have to be a Grimtotem. The reason for this is simple. The Grimtotems have been exiled successfully. They are no longer welcome in Mulgore or Thunderbluff, even in Orgrimmar to an extent. The Grimtotems did not actually join the Horde when the opportunity was made available to them, because they believed that all non-Shu'halo races were inferior. And while it is possible to RP as an exiled Grimtotem, as in exiled by the Grimtotems for disagreeing with their methods or their ideals, there are many other clans that you can choose from, and I highly recommend that you do a little bit of research into them, because they are just as amazing as the Grimtotems are. The second point is that you all venerate the Earth Mother and the Great Hunt. This is something that was that you were indoctrinated into at a very young age. This is a unique cultural racial faith, and veneration of the Earth Mother in all of her forms is a central tenet of Shu'halo life. You don't take what you can't use, so people like the goblins, whose entire society revolves around greed and exploitation of both people and resources, might be a bit of an annoyance to you. The Great Hunt is a special time for all Shu'halo, and no matter what your path is, it is integral to your beliefs. You also have to think about how Cairn's death might have had an effect on you. Remember, Cairn Bloodhoof was a much beloved leader to the Shu'halo. He did a lot for your people as a whole and sacrificed much of his own personal power and time and space to make sure that all Shu'halo were safe. Do you blame Garrosh for striking the mortal blow? Or maybe you blame him for even agreeing to the duel. Do you blame Magatha Grimtotem for poisoning Garrosh's blade? You might even go so far as to blame Cairn himself for even instigating the duel against Garrosh. And what about the massacre at Camp Tauren? The Shu'halo abhor fighting unless it is necessary, and it is clear that Camp Tauren was a slaughter of the worst degree. Did you stick with your root Tauren beliefs, or did you take the fight to the Alliance for their transgressions and seek vengeance for those who died at Camp Tauren? In any case, the Tauren are a fantastic race of beings to roleplay. They are complex in their simplicity. They are one of the few generally well-natured and good races out there on Azeroth, and they are well deserving of your attention and respect as a roleplayer. Well, that is going to be it for this episode of How to Roleplay in World of Warcraft. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, if you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm planning on starting to put these videos out once a week since I have so much material to cover now. You guys are great about giving me inspiration for new videos, for new video series, and I would like to start showing my appreciation by getting these out a little bit faster for you, especially now that my schedule has gotten back to something resembling normalcy again. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, or whatever you're doing with this video right now. Have a great week, have a great weekend, and we will see you again in Azeroth.